Hey guys, LevelCap here. Today I am very excited to bring you some Overwatch gameplay from the closed beta. I was lucky enough to get into the closed beta. If you didn't get in, don't worry, they're going to be adding more people in waves, but the current wave I think is very small. And I say this because I was recognizing most of the people I was playing against. I really think that the initial beta group is a very, very small number of people because Blizzard wants to make sure that this game is running smoothly and nicely before they get it out there to the public. And even though this game is beta, it is a Blizzard beta, which means the game's probably more well polished than most games ever are, and good games aren't this well polished till usually about a year after release. I mean, Blizzard's got a quality standard that is just unparalleled when it comes to video games. Now, I've put quite a few hours into the beta so far. I haven't even crashed once with it. I had one disconnect, and I think it was due to some sort of a server restart, because that's sort of what it looked like since I couldn't log back on for a couple hours. So that was pretty much my only problem when playing the entire beta this time through. Other than that, it's been flawless. I've had no problem getting into matches. And one really cool thing about the matchmaking system is that if you're not finding a match right away, it'll actually put you in like a little skirmish game with other people that are waiting to find matches too. So you can just run around and shoot at people and warm up, if you will. And it's pretty cool that they just do that automatically. The games load so quickly that you can just hop into a match no problem, lickety split. Now, the first thing I did when I started playing was try and get a feel for all the characters. There's 18 of them, and you're going to want to know what their abilities are before you go up against them in combat. It's going to make you a more effective player no matter what character you're playing. So 18 characters, I spent one match per character. It can actually take quite a while to learn them all, but once you do, it's going to make a lot more sense when you see characters running at you on the battlefield. Then you're going to be prepared for what they have to fight you with. Now, to help you learn the characters, they've broken them up into 4 different classifications. You have offensive, you have defensive or support, then you have tanks and the healer classes. And this will just kind of give you a good idea of what you're picking when you're picking a character at the very start. But they really do vary completely in their playstyle, and they have medics that are good for combat. They have support classes that are really aggressive and powerful. They have tanks that can absolutely tear people up. I mean, there's a lot of variation to each character in the game, which is why it's good to actually go through and play them all. Now, the game is designed purely around competitive game modes. We have payload, which is a game mode where you have to capture a payload and then defend it as it moves through a map and eventually gets to its final destination. If you can do that, then you win the round as the offensive team. If you're the defensive team, you have to stop the other guys from doing that. So you have a lot of different tools in your arsenal. The other game mode is called point capture, and although similar to payload in that it moves you through a map from one objective to the other, this one more involves you just getting on a point for a certain period of time, capturing it, and once you do that, you can move on to the next objective. They're both very similar game modes, and the tactics are going to be similar, although not identical when switching between the two. A lot of the tactics are going to depend on the map you're playing. Each map is not only beautiful, but just crafts so intricately around this actual game. I mean, there are tons of sniper perches for the sniper classes. There's really good defensive choke points. There's places where certain classes are going to excel, and then places where those same classes are going to do horribly, so you might have to change up your classes as the round progresses. Now, this is where Blizzard has definitely changed up their game design from the cliche MOBA style where you have to pick your character at the start of the round and then you're just sort of stuck with it, and your team balance is based around a certain playstyle for the entire round. You can switch up your character at any point during the round. If you decided that your support class just is not working for the situation at hand, change it up. You can play offensive, you can play medic, whatever your team needs, you can change at any point. I mean, obviously in between lives, or you have to run all the way back to your deployment, and then you can switch your hero. Now, one thing that I like so much about this game is that you can have a whole bunch of different skill styles or play styles and still do well within this game, provided that you pick the right hero. If you're not the most amazing Twitch reflex player on the planet, well, there's a lot of players that actually auto lock on when they fire. Obviously, their weapons are balanced accordingly, but you can play one of those characters until you get good with your Twitch reflex or your accuracy. Something that I really liked is that the tutorial system forces you to use a hero called Soldier 76, and this guy is very basic if you're familiar with Call of Duty, Battlefield, Halo, any of your standard shooters out there. He's got an assault rifle, He can shoot a rocket out of his assault rifle and then puts down a healing pad on the ground. He's very straightforward, very simple, easy to learn for your standard shooter player. And he's also a versatile character that's both good on offense and defense. So it's a good way to sort of get into the game, learn the game. But then there's a lot of other characters out there that exhibit characteristics from, say, Team Fortress. The Junkrat character has a grenade launcher and he can throw C4 around and detonate it. He has a lot of those same things that you might be used to if you're playing the demo man for Team Fortress. So there's plenty of characters that exhibit the characteristics that you might be used to from your favorite shooter games. And even though there's 18 different characters, they all play so uniquely to themselves that it really does require you to sort of wrap your brain around the new skill set and the new tools you have at your disposal when switching between classes. I mean, you might be used to sprinting by holding the shift button with Soldier 76, but if you're playing as Farah and you hit the shift button, she's going to rocket up in the air and she can shoot people from high above, so she doesn't have a sprint function. So your buttons are going to switch up and your basic movement controls are going to be fairly different depending on what hero character you're playing. And I like that they've changed like the fundamentals of every class. It's not just like gadgets and guns that they have available to them. It's like full-on movement, how you get around the map. Your entire philosophy as a player and as a character has to change when you switch between them. The defensive character Bastion, his primary purpose is to basically go somewhere in the map and go into a turret mode where he just sits there and shoots at people. So you have to be a very passive player or play a very passive playstyle to be effective with him. Whereas if you're playing Tracer, you have to be moving all over the place, teleporting crazy fast, jumping back and forth, dodging bullets. You have very little health, and that's how she plays, and that's how you're most effective with her. So the playstyles, again, change completely, and Blizzard has just nailed this concept so well, better than any other game I've seen. And like most Blizzard games, it's very simple to learn, very easy. The UI makes sense, but the skill gap is immense, and it is a very, very skill dependent game. Even if you are playing some of the characters that lock on and don't require as much accuracy, you have to have some really, really good strategy to be good with them. And I love this about the game. It's got great esport potential. It's already really fun to play competitively. I was naturally getting on comms with other people on my team. You have to have a lot of communication, a lot of coordination once you get to a certain level of play, and I just can't wait to see what this game has in store for us once it goes public and once everybody can jump on. It's pretty challenging right now because I'm up against a lot of good players. Everybody playing the game right now is pretty darn skilled, so it's fun at the same time as it is very, very challenging, and sometimes you win a lot, sometimes you lose a lot, but I'm happy to say that I have fun even when I'm not doing well. The game certainly makes me want to get better, and I can't wait to see what Blizzard's got in store with their sort of endgame potential with this. It already appears that you're like earning coins or earning some sort of currency or bonuses or something like that when the round is over based on your performance, so I'm sure there's going to be like player skins and all kinds of cool aesthetic unlocks. I'm not sure if they're going to add anything to the game that actually gives you a performance benefit. I imagine it's probably going to be aesthetics. They actually haven't even come out with the payment model on this game yet. Are you going to have to pay a solid fee to get the game in the first place? Is it going to be free to play with microtransactions? We don't know yet, but whatever it is, I can't wait for this game to come out publicly and really start playing, maybe even start up some competitive teams. It's inspiring. I think Blizzard's got a winner on their hands for sure. I want you guys to all be able to get into it so you don't just have to take my word for it. It is a blast to play. Anyway, stay tuned for more Overwatch coverage. Thanks for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time. This is LevelCap signing off.